Hi, so we've gone ahead and purchased a metal sculpture of a horse, and we're going to be turning it into a magical unicorn covered with glitter. So, because it's rusty, and it's supposed to be, it was sold as like a rusted sculpture. The problem is, if we leave it rusted, it's going to totally take down the glitter or any sealer that we put on it. So we've absolutely got to stop the rust. So the product that I like for that is Rust-Oleum, Rust Reformer. I got it at our Ace Hardware. It's generally found, at hardware stores, but you can certainly order it online if you're not able to find it locally. And it's just a matter of coating it completely and making sure that you get every last bit. So in this case, we've got like a piece of mane down here. If I'm not able to spray into it, I've got to at least try and brush into it. And being a spray can, you can't really brush it. But there is a trick, and that is you take your top off like this, and you spray really hard into the cap until it starts to pool and puddle. And you'll notice that you'll actually end up with a liquid paint. You can actually take that liquid paint with a brush, dip it in, and get up underneath those spots. You definitely don't want to, just because you can't reach it, doesn't mean, you can't do the work. You absolutely need to get this coated all the way through, or else it's just going to find its way through. Rust is absolutely tenacious. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Here we go. I'm outside, so I'm not wearing a respirator. It's also got a wind, which you will see as soon as I start spraying. But if you're working in a situation with dead air, in other words, it's not moving or it's still, or you're in an enclosed space, get that respirator on. And quite honestly, I'll probably end up putting it on after I stop filming. You want to make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommendations in here. If it's too cold, you don't want to spray. If it's too hot, you don't want to spray. You want to make sure it's just right. I never spray in direct sunlight. Today's this really nice overcast morning, so it's perfect. I want to show you a tool that I purchased. It's really handy. Again, it's made by Rust-Oleum, but other brands make it. And it fits right on the can. And so rather than pushing down on a little nozzle at the top, you get this nice big thing to grab with your hand. It's a whole lot easier to put that pressure on than with your finger. Okay, great. So we've gone ahead and done the prep with the paint, and we've noticed that there's, he's pretty rough. Whoever did the sculpture, they made it in a rough way, and that was part of the style. But because this is going to be a beautiful unicorn, we're going to smooth out some of these seams where there's not holes and various things. And my favorite thing to do with metal is using Bondo. It's made for cars. There you go. And it's a two-part. It's very stinky. You want to wear a respirator for sure, unless you've got incredibly good ventilation. We right now have a heavy breeze, so I can't even smell this at all. But anyway, the way it's done is by mixing a gray base putty with a hardener, and when the two mix together, it should become kind of a lightish pink color. And at that point, you've got about 10 minutes maybe to work with it, and probably hard to cure within 20-30 minutes, and then it's sandable. So you want to put it on. You don't want to spend a lot of time making it incredibly smooth, because it's very easy to just sand that off and make it smooth. And since you don't have a lot of time to work with it, you'll spend all your time, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it's hardening way too fast, and because you spent so much time trying to make it pretty. So it's better to just get it on there and then sand it smooth. So here we go. I have Diza here learning how to do it, so she's going to come on over and be a part of it. Okay, good. So this area right up in here, but we can go for the whole thing. Bondo has been done, the sanding's been done, and we went ahead and repainted wherever the sander hit the metal, which was a few places. I want to make sure there's no, possible chance of any rust seeing the light of day. As you can see, still certainly see where the joint is. If you don't, if you're trying to avoid that like completely and you want just an absolutely smooth surface, you can still achieve that with Bondo. You would just want to do a little bit thicker layer and then really sand that down. So at this point, the horse has been base coated white because he is going to be a white unicorn, and it's always smart to do a similar paint underneath the color of the glitter so that your glitter doesn't have to work as hard in terms of coverage. If you were to put a white glitter over a black horse or a black unicorn, that glitter is going to have to be not only complete coverage, but probably even more than complete coverage, like maybe even a couple coats of it, just to make sure that that black doesn't show through. So by putting the white underneath it, you have really saved yourself a lot of glitter. Okay, so today I was going to show you something that's, well, they call it magic sculpt, and I call it magic for sure. It is a two-part putty resin, and you mix the two together, and it acts like almost a softer version of, let's say, Fimo, or a modeling putty. And what you can do is you mix it really well to make sure that the two parts are thoroughly mixed, and then you can apply it. And in this case, we're going to accentuate some veins and so forth on the unicorn's head. Also, when I attach the horn, it has an ugly bracket. I'm going to use the putty to make that bracket go away and just blend into the horse's body. I'm also going to make the horn attach more to the head, because right now it's sort of floating in space. Sorry about the bush. I don't want to hurt it. It has to stay. So anyway, I'm going to show you how it works. Basically working with, you know, a good chunk of it, but not like you wouldn't want to mix the two, you know, containers together and have like a full pound, because there is a working time with it. It sculpts with clay tools, and also I bought a, it's a set of really fine, they're called wax carving tools, and they're made from metal. And I'm going to show it to you because you may want to invest in this. They're not expensive. I think you can get them on Amazon. See all those different points and tools? It allows you to poke and to sculpt and to, you know, move the clay around. Shouldn't call it clay, but whatever. Anyway, they're really wonderful to have. But my favorite part about this, and this is super important for people who played with putty and different things, is you can use water to smooth it. That's really important. Because when you're working with tools, you're always leaving edges, and you know, you've got little flanges and, you know, parts where the putty will attach to the surface, but it's not a super, you know, uniform thing. You'll always see like this edge. Well, with this stuff, with the water, you can take it and you can almost get rid of that edge entirely. It smooths out. You can get rid of your fingerprints that you'll leave behind. Sometimes, like with Fimo, you'll see fingerprints. With this stuff, you can take water and just smooth all that out. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, here you go. This is after water has been applied and it's been smoothed out. You can see up inside that ear, no more flange. Could have even gone further with it and smoothed it out even more, but there's just no reason to, because glitter is going to hide all of that stuff. But there you go, a quick fix, and so fast it was, start to finish, less than 10 minutes.
Hey there! Today we are going to be glittering our unicorn, and I will be using a resin urethane. I have my respirator, some latex gloves for protection. It's pretty intense solvent stuff, so it's smelly. So yeah, I'm outside, it's well ventilated. I'm going to be starting with the mane and the tail. I'm going to do a rainbow on both, and then I'll be working on the body in a different gradients of white. Alright, I'm going to be starting my mix for the body. I'm going to do a 3-to-1 ratio of Arctic Frost and Glitterati Rainbow. I just think that the Glitterati is so powerful, I don't want it to overpower my whole unicorn. And I'll also be using today, I'll be applying it with the glitter gun. So I'll just put my glitter in there, and right here is the governor. And it opens and closes that hole right there. So after I get my unicorn painted, I'll be using the glitter gun to apply my glitter. And here I'm going to mix in my Arctic Frost and my Glitterati Rainbow. I'm almost ready to go. Okay, so I have the unicorn covered with my Arctic Frost and Glitterati Rainbow mix. It's hard to see in this light, but it's pretty coated with the glitter. And next I'm going to mix in a little bit of sandstone and a little silver sparkle to my Glitterati Arctic mix, and I'm going to do some definition and shading in the flank, in the feet, and just add some detail with some other glitters. So that's what comes next. So I'm going to use a little bit of acrylic paint. I have a Payne's gray and a white just to give some definition to the eye and the face. And then I will be coating that again with the solvent urethane and glitter.
Today is the big day. Diza has finished glittering the unicorn. It's now time to seal it. I'm going to be sealing it with Sculpt Nouveau's Everclear Super Gloss. Probably going to be doing at least 2 coats in some of the areas where he'll be touched more, like in the face, because people want to come up and pet the horse. I may do 3 coats, but probably going to keep it to 2. I really want it to stay very, very shiny, and the more coats you put on, the more you knock down the shine. So I'm going to go with at least 2. I'm going to be using what I call the Susie Homemaker sprayer. It's an HVLP, which is a high velocity, low pressure. It is a siphon gun. It's kind of the old-fashioned kind. It hooks up to an all-in-one compressor. It's one of these little guys here. So These units, I like to take them when I'm on jobs where I don't have a compressor and when it doesn't really matter. Like for example, if this was a car, there's no way I would use this. But because it's just for a unicorn, it's no problem. It'll put down, you know, a nice coat as thick or as thin as I want, and it'll look great. But it's definitely not really a professional level gun. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a batch of the super gloss. I'm going to go ahead and get this loaded up and start spraying. Okay, I've got the Everclear mixed up, and what I was going to tell you is that I have chosen, because this just isn't sparkly enough, to go ahead and mix in an iridescent, a clear iridescent, into the material. And when I spray, not only is it going to put down a clear, but it's going to put down an ultrafine iridescent. I'm using tip 1.55 for that, and the 008 glitter ultrafine will run through it fine. And the first coat I'm going to go ahead and do with the glitter, and then the second coat I will be doing without the glitter. Okay? So that's a nice way to, let's say your project didn't turn out exactly what you wanted, or you wanted a little bit more sparkle. That first clear coat can be used with glitter, and that will pop it up a notch. And you can spray anything you want. I like to use iridescent so that it won't change the overall look and design. It's just going to add just another element of sparkle to it. Okay, so here we go.